Last night, between all the other fireworks, the home run hitters did their thing. Barry Bonds lined his 16th home run of the year for one. And then for the Cubs, the hottest hitter in all of baseball, Rick Wilkins, hit his 5th home run in the last 4 games and his 12th of the season. That was last night. Today, the Cubs will try to even up the series, so stay with us for all the action coming your way in a moment.
Chicago Cubs baseball on Channel 9. The Cubs are brought to you by Bud Light. If you want great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down, make it a Bud Light. True Value Hardware Stores. Got a tough job to do? You can do it with True Value Hardware Stores. Buick and your local Buick dealers. Remember Buick, the new symbol for quality in America. United, Chicago's hometown airline, is proud to be the official airline of the Chicago Cubs. By Pepsi, gotta have it. And by the Chicago Tribune, Chicagoland's choice for sports, daily and Sunday.
Steve Stone, we're at Candlestick Park, where the Cubs will try to even up this series at a game apiece after losing last night 7-2.
Giants are mighty tough here at Candlestick Park. They're 22-9 this year. That's the 2nd best record in the National League. Mike Harkey's going to the mound. He's 5-2, having a pretty good year. But the ace of the staff, Billy Swift, is going to the mound for the Giants. And you've got to watch both Matt Williams and Barry Bonds there. They are tough.
And the other thing about the San Francisco Giants, why they are where they are, which is in first place in the Western Division, is their defense. They make the double play. They make the good play. They have a lot of speed in their outfield, and they are a very fine ball club. And Barry Bonds is just what they needed to make them what they are today. Well, we'll have the starting lineups for you now in a moment. The Cubs starting lineup of Dwight Smith in right, Vizcaino at short, Sandberg at second, Grace at first, May in left, Buechele at third, Wilkins catching, Wilson in center, and Mike Harkey, who has won 5 and lost 2, is on the mound. The defensive alignment for the Giants, Bonds in left, Lewis in center, and Martinez in right. Williams, Clayton, Thompson, and Clark around the infield. Bill Swift is on the mound. He's won 7, lost 3, and Jeff Reed is the catcher. The umpires are Bill Hahn behind the plate, Wally Bell at first, John McSherry at second, and Bob Davidson is at third, and the Giants are taking the field. Baltimore, which has won 9 in a row, we're trailing at Boston 1-0 going into the top of the 9th. But Baltimore rallied with 5 runs, and they now lead 5-1 in the bottom of the 9th, going for their 10th in a row.
There's a look at Bill Swift, and he is the ace of this staff along with John Burkett. Last time out, Swift beat Pittsburgh 7-1. He went 8 innings, gave up just 1 run, and at one stretch retired 17 straight men. The Cubs did face Billy Swift back in Chicago, and they beat him that day. That was back on the 26th of May. He went 6 innings, gave up 4 runs. The highlight of that game, as far as the Cubs are concerned, home runs by Rick Wilkins and Steve Buechele. After the Giants had a 2-1 lead, they came back against Swift, and they won that ball game 6-2. So Billy Swift with a 1-1 lifetime record against the Cubs, as you see there, pretty good ERA of 3.46, takes his sinker to the mound. He's got a good hard slider. A sinker is his best pitch, and when he's right, a lot like Mike Morgan, he'll get a lot of ground balls in the infield. And bear in mind that the Giants lead the National League in double plays by 14 over the Cubs, and this is a fine defensive team all the way around.
The winning pitcher in the game the Swift lost to the Cubs was Mike Harkey. In spite of back-to-back home runs hit by Matt Williams and Barry Bonds early in the ball game. So this ought to be a very interesting battle. And here's Dwight Smith strolling towards the plate.
Wind not much of a factor here today, as it's a beautiful day in San Francisco. The last couple days, it's heated up somewhat. There you see the wind swirling on top of the stadium, but on the field, not that much of a factor in this, a very small ballpark. It's only 328 down the line and right, only 365 to both power alleys, but it is 400 to straightaway center.
You know, Steve, I know you played here with the Giants, and you could tell me the timetable. Doesn't the wind start to blow at 3 o'clock?
Well, between 2:30 and 3, it certainly starts to roar.
Here's the first pitch to Dwight Smith, high and inside. 1 ball, no strike. Smith didn't play yesterday, hitting .336. Smashed it foul, and the count is even up. There's another camera we have working for us today, going right down the first base line. Pitches outside. Bill Swift is one of 15 children. Wow. I guess the rhythm system doesn't really work. There's a high drive. Left field coming over. Barry Bonds makes the catch. Dwight Smith flied to Barry Bonds, 1 away, and here's Vizcaíno.
You're going to have to score and score a lot against the Giants, especially in this park. They're averaging 4.8 runs a game this year. Last year, they were second last and last, respectively, in runs scored and batting average. This year, they're first in batting average, second in runs scored. And this offense is finely tuned behind Dusty Baker, the new manager of this team.
Vizcaíno. Ray Sanchez had 3 out of 4 last night, which was retired on a hot smash the time he did not hit. Peter and Pat Lombardo with friends Frank and Rosemary Glowinski from Pulaski, Wisconsin. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Fouled it out of play. Dave and Tracy Aldred from Vancouver, Washington are here to see Randy Myers in action. That's his hometown, Vancouver, Washington. He fouled the pitch back. Vizcaíno, switch hitter.
Billy Swift got off to a red-hot start last year, going 6-0. Then he had some arm problems, wound up 10-4 with a fine 2.08 ERA for San Francisco. This year he has not completed a game as Dusty Baker is trying to protect that arm.
Ground ball in the right field, a base hit, and Vizcaíno's on. Boy, that ground ball had eyes. Too far to the right of Will Clark and too far to the left of Robbie Thompson, the second baseman.
The dirt here is very lively in San Francisco, and this ball hits the dirt in front of the plate and the dirt in the infield and scoots through. The grass, however, is fairly slow. So if you can keep the ball on the dirt part, you can scoot it through the infield, but the grass eats up most of the ground balls.
Here's Sandberg, 2 out of 6 during his career against Bill Swift. He had 1 out of 4 last night. Runner at first, 1 out. Great Cub fans, the Gilcheck family of Alameda, California. 1 out, 1 on. Strike called over the outside corner. 0-1 the count, 1 out.
Sandberg has grounded into 4 double plays this year, and Vizcaíno has stolen 6 bases. He's been caught 3 times. Jim Lefevre has not run in this configuration too much, but it's not a bad idea with a team that turns double plays like the Giants.
Hot shot on the ground, might get 2 out at second. Out at third. Fine pickup by Royce Clayton. And so we go in the bottom of the first, no score. leads it off in center. Robbie Thompson at second. Will Clark batting third. Matt Williams in the cleanup spot. Bonds hitting fifth. Davey Martinez, former Cub, in right. Clayton batting seventh. Reed eighth. And Bill Swift, the pitcher. The Pepsi defensive alignment is as you see it, with May, Wilson, and Smith in the outfield. Buechele, Vizcaino, Sandberg, and Grace on the infield. Harkey pitching, Wilkins catching. And here we go into the bottom of the first. Darren Lewis, who had a big night, 3 out of 5 last night. Pitches in there, a strike call.
Mike Harkey is 5-0 lifetime against San Francisco with a fine 2.94 ERA, and this his 6th start. So he's had a very good run at it against the Giants. And look at the records this year. A lot of hits per innings pitched for Mike.
Line smash, left field, base hit. Boy, Lewis, who's only 1 out of 14 against the Cub pitching in Chicago, is 4 out of 6 in this series, which is just in his second game.
Darren Lewis can run. He's stolen 23 bases, been caught just 5 times. And Robbie Thompson on occasion has been used as a hit and run man, so Harkey is going to have to watch Lewis closely. Dusty Baker, usually aggressive at the top, not too aggressive with the Clark, Williams, Bonds trifecta in the middle.
A runner on, Darren Lewis. Robbie Thompson hitting 296. He faked a bunt, took a breaking ball for a strike. What worries you about Harkey is the opposition batting average against him. The hitters have batted against him have a 304 batting average, which means on average they hit over 300 against him. That is not very effective.
Mike's had a pretty good home run ratio, giving up just 5 in 57 innings, walked just 19, so he's had pretty good control.
Now the pitch a little bit low. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, so far Mike Harkey does not have the good fastball that we've seen. Now hopefully it will come to him, but thus far the fastball looks down a few miles an hour.
Watch Lewis. High and inside. Ball 2.
If Lewis is going to run, he's going to run here. And if Harkey does have a good move, he better show it to him here as we look at the stolen base leaders with Vince Coleman at top, Chuck Carr second, Darren Lewis in third, just 4 behind Coleman.
2 balls and the strike. There he goes. Hit and run, perfectly executed. Right through shortstop, where Vizcaino just left. He left too soon, went over the cover, and Robbie Thompson bounced the ball right through. Boy, oh boy, could have been an easy double play.
Well, that's why you use the hit and run, because you get movement in the infield, and the Cubs in a similar situation in the first inning don't hit and run. They ground into the double play. Here was the double play ground ball, but Dusty Baker did hit and run, and they've got runners at the corners, nobody out, in a perfectly placed ground ball by Robbie Thompson. We told you that Dusty Baker's very aggressive at the top, but then he sits back and lets Clark, Williams, and Bonds see if they can drive home the runs, and they've done it all year.
Last night, the Giants got out in front in the first inning with 2 and added 4 more in the third. They got runners at first and third, nobody out. Will Clark, who had 2 out of 4 last night. Curveball outside and high, ball 1.
Will Clark will ground into a double play. The one thing that he can't do, the one thing he's never been able to do, is run particularly well, and he's grounded into 6 of them this year. Mike Harkey would certainly like to see the 7th.
Last night, Will Clark drove in the first run with a double to right. 1 ball, no strikes. Swung and he missed. A breaking ball. Matt Williams, whose first time up against Harkey in Chicago, hit a home run, his 15th of the year. Now he's got 18.
Robbie Thompson can run at first. He's 8 for 9 in the stolen base department.
Swung. And now he's behind. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Final score, Baltimore has won its 10th game in a row, beating the Red Sox 5-1. Last night at Boston, they beat the Red Sox 16-4. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
3 straight changes in a row for Mike Harkey. So this will be an interesting pitch selection as Rick Wilkins looks over in the dugout. He's getting some signs from either Jim Lefevre or Billy Connors as to what they might like to see Harkey throw here.
Fake at third, turns to first, no play. Dennis Markey from Cameron Park, California, out of Central Illinois, on hand today. A little bit inside. Ball 3. Mike Harkey wanted that pitch, and he could have gotten it. But Bill Hahn said it was a little bit too far inside.
Now let's see if Dusty Baker's going to send Thompson here, although Will Clark has fanned 34 times this year. So he does strike out quite a bit. The Cubs might get a strike him out, throw him out.
The pitch. A little pop fly. On the infield, Vizcaíno's there, and he makes the catch. Will Clark popped to the shortstop, Jose Vizcaíno, 1 away.
That was a good pitch by Mike Harkey. Threw a fastball right in on the hands of Will Clark. Will couldn't extend those hands and couldn't get anything into the swing. That was the best pitch that he's made, and our new angle shows you that Clark trying to bring his hands in, but can't do anything with it as he hits the ball below the label. And anytime you do that, you're not going to get much distance out of it.
And now a double play would get him out of the inning. Matt Williams, who's grounded in a few of them 6 times. He's hitting with double play. Runners first and third. His first time up in Chicago against Harkey, he hit a tremendous home run. The outfield plays them deep everywhere. There's a pitch in there, a strike call. They're unhappy about the way the All-Star game voting is going on. Man, apparently he's rated number 3 in popular vote as of now. There's a pitch outside. Gary Makishin from Sacramento, California on hand. No score, but they have runners at first and third, 1 out. Williams leads the league in RBIs as well as home run. Throw to first. Hank Voigt from the Burwood Tap in Lincoln Park on hand today. Harkey taking his time. Ooh, he had a good cut. Fouled it back. Barry Bonds would be next. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, let's see if Mike Harkey can throw a good hard slider away from Williams. Williams is a dead pull hitter. Now, he has said this year he's opened his stance. He gets a better look at the outside pitch, and he's not swinging at too many pitches off the plate. But here's an RBI situation where all Williams needs is a fly ball, and if Harkey keeps the slider down, he'll either get the strikeout or the double play grounder.
Now Harkey is set. Set him out. He chased a bad ball. A slider low and away.
Perfect location. The 41st time Matt Williams goes down. This is a good hard slider, low and away out of the strike zone, and Williams can't check his swing. But Mike Harkey not out of the woods yet, because one of the premier hitters, if not the best, combination of power, speed, and average in all of baseball steps in.
The doubter Holly with greetings to Dave and Dolores Mueller. Here's Barry Bonds. Strike call over the outside corner. Mike Harkey has done a great job getting Clark to pop up to Vizcaíno and struck out Matt Williams. Bobby Bonds, Barry's dad, coaching at first base. Into the dirt, and the count is even up. Wilkins trapped that ball. Mamie and Gordon with greetings to their uncle Paul Graziano on his birthday. 2 balls and a strike.
Willie McGee is out of the lineup today. He came out with a strained hamstring yesterday. He's day-to-day. That means Dave Martinez is hitting behind Bonds and trying to give him some protection. Martinez hitting just 180, not the hitter that Willie McGee is. And you want to make sure you don't lay one into Bonds, because he can make it 3-0 in a hurry.
There's a drive, nobody. Here comes base hit. 1 run in. Barry Bonds came through. Drove in his 48th run of the year. For a moment it looked as if Willie Wilson might be able to make the play, but the ball sunk quickly.
Here's the difference between the Giants this year and in years past. You get by Will Clark, you get by Matt Williams, and in years past that was pretty much it for the Giant offense. Now you have Barry Bonds in the 5th spot, and you very rarely get by him.
Barry Bonds is subject to a kind of a controversial article in the new Playboy magazine. Runners at first and third. 1 run is in. The Giants lead 1-0. And here is Davey Martinez, ex-Cub, ex-Expo, ex-Red, current Giant. Mac Norris and family from Galesburg. 2 out, 1 in, 2 on. There's a drive, right field. Dwight Smith is there, and he makes the catch to retire the side. 1 run on 3 hits, 2 left. At the end of 1, the Giants are out in front, 1-0. Park, where the Giants are leading 1-0. Here is Mark Grace, nothing out of 4 last night, hitting .335 for the year. Bill Swift, the pitch is in there, a strike call.
We came back to a man who was yearning so much for the ivy of Wrigley Field, he decided to wear some on his head today.
The pitch a little bit low. A happy 45th wedding anniversary to John and Jean Mayberry. They're the parents of Marty and Daniel Mayberry, who are on our WGN crew. Line drive, base hit, left center field. Here is Grace around first, holding up. A long single to left center. For Mark Grace, that brings up Derek May.
Darren Lewis got to the ball quickly, and he is a fine center fielder. This looked like it was going to be a double up the gap as Mark Grace hits this ball hard. He takes a sinker that Billy Swift gets up, drives it just as he should into left center, and Lewis does a great job of getting to the ball and making sure Grace winds up at first base. That is a picture-perfect swing by Grace, the swing of a man with a lifetime .300 batting average.
Yeah, that's a funny thing. Now, that was Grace's first hit. Here's a high pop fly on the first pitch. Matt Williams out there makes the catch, going down the third base line. May on the first pitch. Pop to Matt Williams. Grace had done nothing out of 5 against the pitching of Swift during his career, and he singled his first time up today. Will Clark against Harkey is now 0 for 14 after popping out his first time up.
Steve Buechele hit a solo home run against Billy Swift when he faced him in Wrigley Field back at the end of May.
Outfield playing Buechele straight away.
We told you about the Giants' double play prowess. In 7 of the last 10 games, they've turned a first inning double play. And they did it here again in the first inning today.
Throw to first, runner back. 1 out, 1 on. 1-0 Giants. Baltimore's already beaten Boston 5-1. The Orioles 10th in a row. He started to swing, tried to check the strike anyway.
Odds are that Jim Lefevre won't be running in this situation, although Grace has stolen 3 bases. He's been caught 1 time. But this inning, he'd love to see Wilkins come to bat, because Wilkins now in the 7th spot instead of the 8th spot will have a chance to drive in some runs if Buechele can keep this inning alive, maybe with a base hit.
Fouls it off. Gene and Shirley Jensen from Scottsdale, Arizona, celebrating their 33rd wedding anniversary. And so's Pete and Karen Katz from Phoenix, celebrating their 4th. And there's Dusty Baker, the manager of the Giants, and a wonderful guy. High pop fly on the infield. Robbie Thompson back under it. He has it. And that brings up Rick Wilkins, who was hit by a pitch ball last night. Caused some fireworks. He was hit by the Giant pitcher Tracy Wilson. Trevor Wilson. And the Cubs, as a result, lost their manager, their manager's replacement, and 2 relief pitchers. Hardly seems fair, does it? Runner at first, 2 out. Wilkins has hit 5 home runs in his last 4 games. Lined at fouls, strike 1.
Well, Darren Lewis is playing Wilkins a couple of steps to pull, just barely into right center field. And Wilkins probably will be seeing a lot of sinkers away from Billy Swift, and he's got to probably attack him the same way that Mark Grace did, by driving the ball over the head of shortstop Royce Clayton. If he does that, he could get it all the way to the wall.
There's a strike call over the inside corner. Jerry Burgess and David and Scott Apple from Nixon, Illinois, watching the game.
Take a look at that road trip for Rick Wilkins. Just an unbelievable job, and he has been one of the real bright spots on this very long and very tough road trip.
Low and outside. Jeff Reed behind the plate, out of Joliet originally.
If the Cubs have an opportunity today, they don't have Kurt Manwaring behind the plate. Manwaring a little more difficult to steal against than Reed. They would like to take advantage of a running game, although Billy Swift does get rid of the ball very quickly to home plate.
1 ball, 2 strikes. There goes the runner. There's the throw. Almost into center field. Time is called now. Grace has stolen second base.
And there's the running game we talked about. Jeff Reed had no chance on this. This slider swept inside. A very tough pitch to handle. Once he does handle it in there, he's got to go behind Rick Wilkins. A bad throw to second. And Reed behind the plate will mean the Cubs will run a little bit more today.
Here's Wilkins. The count is evened up, 2-2. Bill Swift on the hill. Ground ball right to the second baseman, though, who throws him out to retire the side. No runs, one hit, one left. We go in the bottom of the second. The Giants lead 1-0. Harry Carey and Steve Stone as we go in the bottom of the second. 1-0 in favor of the San Francisco Giants. Here's Royce Clayton. 3 out of 4 last night. There's a curveball outside. There's a drive. Left field should be caught. Derek May waiting. One gone.
Cub fans, spend an incredible evening with Ryne Sandberg, Mark Grace, and the entire Cubs team as we set sail on the Cubs Care Cruise. That's Wednesday, July 28th, aboard the majestic cruise ship Odyssey. For more information, call 312-404-CUBS.
One out. Here's Jeff Reed. Went to Joliet Township years ago. Now the pitch. Strike call.
Outfield straight away for Reed, not overly deep. There's a look at Mark Grace, the Gold Glove first baseman in the National League.
Pitch inside. Reed was originally with Minnesota, then with the Reds, also with Montreal, this year with the Giants, and they're leading the Western Division. Apparently the wind is starting to puff a little bit. 3 balls and the strike, 1 out.
The fact that the Giants scored in the first inning should be no surprise, because with this offense, they've scored in the first inning 5 of the last 6 games.
There's a high pop foul back out of play. Baltimore now over the 500 mark with 31-30 as they won their 10th in a row today. The Giants have ball 4 high. That's first walk by Harkey.
Don't think because Billy Swift is a pitcher that he automatically will lay one down, because this is a very fine hitter, hitting .269. So he does have 4 sacrifices, and he can handle the bat. And with Wendell Kim, the third base coach, flashing the signs from Dusty Baker, you have to be aware of that slug bunt where the pitcher draws the bat back and just tries to tap it in the infield.
There's the pitch. He bunts. The only play, first base, Sandberg covering. From Grace to Sandberg, a sacrifice. You know, last night when we left you, the Dodgers were leading San Diego in the 9th inning 4-0. San Diego scored 5 in the bottom of the 9th. So the Giants gained ground on everybody. On Houston, who's 5.5 back. Atlanta won. They're still 6.5 back. The Dodgers lost. They're 7.5 back. So the Giants in a great position. And in the other division, Philadelphia with even a bigger margin of leadership. They're 10.5 games ahead of the Cardinals and Montreal, 13 ahead of the Cubs.
The Phillies took a terrible blow, however, in the game yesterday. Dave Hollins, their star third baseman and among league leaders in runs batted in, broke a bone in his hand, and he's going to be lost between 4 to 6 weeks. And that can't help him any.
There's a pitch high without him. They won, though, last night. Nothing seems to bother that Philadelphia ball club. Look at that. 15 games above the 500 mark.
The thing that should scare everybody, Harry, is the fact that Florida is just a game in back of the Cubs and very close to Pittsburgh.
Here's a pitch a little low to Darren Lewis. 2 out. 3 balls, no strikes. Pete Torrey, formerly of Fort Wayne, Indiana, wants to be remembered to everybody in the Hoosier State. He's here with his family. 3 balls, no strikes, 2 out. Ball 4. And here's Robbie Thompson, hitting .296 for the year with 4 homers, 24 RBI.
Billy Connor's coming out now to talk with Mike Harkey. This is most unusual for Harkey. He normally has very good control, but he's walked 2 men in the inning, and now you're getting into the dangerous part of the lineup for the Giants. And Billy Connors wants to go out, remind him that if he does not get Thompson, he's looking at Clark, Williams, and Bonds after him. So this is perhaps the biggest out of the ball game so far, and he's got to retire Robbie Thompson.
Leonard Suan Vitroni, formerly of Naperville, and Don and Marie Bosworth from Mesa, Arizona, and Ron Jan and Robin Amquist from Morro Bay, California, all here hoping to see a Cub victory. Runners at first and second. Curveball in the dirt, ball 1. Bill Delvo from Addison, Illinois is here. Yep, the wind's starting to blow papers around. Inside and high. Almost hit Robbie Thompson. Christy and Lenny Shiana from Roseburg, Oregon are here. There's a base hit in the right field. Watch this play at the plate. Going to be close, safe. The throw is up the line. And Thompson has driven in his 25th run of the year. And boy, these guys, whenever they have a chance, you might get 1 out or 2 out, but the third guy will drive the run home.
Well, Harkey had to make a 2-0 fastball pitch, and he threw it right down the middle, and Robbie Thompson takes advantage of it despite a strong throw by Dwight Smith. No chance to get Joliet Jeff Reed as he scores the second run, and the Giants, as has been their custom, jump out early against the Cubs. And Mike Harkey is struggling once again today. 4 hits in an inning and 2/3, and the heart of the order due up for the Giants.
And here's Will Clark. Two to nothing in favor of the Giants. Runners at first and third. 2 out. Clark popped up in a situation in the first. Fastball over the outside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike. We're in the bottom of the second. Swung and he missed. Jerry and Donna Lane from Zion, Illinois are here. One ball, 2 strikes. 2 out. A little bit outside, 2-2. Nice crowd on hand. Much bigger than last night. Final game of the series tomorrow afternoon. Leadoff man at 2:30 Chicago time. Ball 3. And Matt Williams will be next.
And now this will send Robbie Thompson off first base with Mark Grace well behind him. And so you take away the force out at second. And a ground ball hit in the hole where you'd normally be able to just flip to second base. You won't have it with Clark up. So here's a big advantage, 3-2 with a runner at first going.
Now the pitch. There's a drive, left center field, way back. Derek May is there, and he makes the catch. Clark flies to Derek May in left center. 1 run, 1 hit, 2 bases on balls hurt. 2 men left. At the end of 2, the Giants lead 2-0.
A participating advertiser in Cubs baseball is Montgomery Ward, where things are really changing.
Swings and he fouls it off. He has had a total of only 4 hits against the pitching of Bill Swift in 31 times at bat. That's an average of 1.29. Hey, our Aflac trivia question. Oh, I could.
Mike McCormick.
John Antonelli. How about Juan Marichal? 1 ball, 1 strike.
I'm picking Mike McCormick. Arnie likes those obscure questions.
Now the pitch, here it is. A high hopper. Matt Williams playing him shallow. Has an easy play. 1 away.
Cub fans, get your free copy of the 1993 Chicago Cubs gift catalog by calling toll-free 1-800-745-CUBS. The Cubs gift catalog offers hundreds of unique and exciting gifts for your favorite Cubs fan. Call and order your Cubs gift catalog today at 1-800-745-CUBS.
Steve, let me ask you something. Are you sure we're hitting at the same baseball that they are? You can hear the crack of bat against ball every time they swing. We haven't even heard a bat against a ball yet.
One of the big factors here is that Billy Swift is a sinker ball pitcher, Harry. 56% of all the outs he records are in the infield on ground balls. Mike Harkey doesn't have a sinker, so anytime he has 1 hit, usually goes to the outfield. Swift keeps most of his in the infield, and they don't sound quite as good.
Here's the pitch low and inside. 1-1 now. Mike Harkey, who's a pretty good hitting pitcher. He's had 3 out of 19. High pop fly. That'll be easy. Center field, Darren Lewis comes all the way in to the edge of the infield behind second base to make the catch.
Seattle thought Billy Swift was a pretty good pitcher when they drafted him in the first round of the 1984 June draft. He was the 2nd player chosen overall. Then they turned around and traded him to San Francisco December 11th of 1991 along with Mike Jackson and Dave Burba for Kevin Mitchell. Well, Mitchell is no longer in Seattle, but Mike Jackson, Bill Swift, and Dave Burba still here with the Giants. So one of the better trades made by then general manager Al Rosen. And he's got now 30% of the pitching staff on the 1 deal he made with the Seattle Mariners back in 1991.
2 men around, nobody on. Dwight Smith. Line drive past Clark in the right field. Now there's the first ball we've heard hit. You could hear the crack of the bat against the ball as Dwight Smith rifled a liner right by Will Clark.
Will Clark playing in because he thinks Dwight Smith is going to bunt the ball. And that's what allowed him to just rifle the ball by him. And Will Clark now might have been hurt on that play because the trainer is coming out. They want to have a look at Clark. And that's an advantage if they think you're going to bunt and they move in and you do swing away. And the infielders are really close and have a hard time catching anything with something on it. And Will Clark looks like he caught that one off the wrist.
Let's see the play again. Maybe if we're able to tell.
Now it's the right hand of Will Clark as Smitty hits a bullet down there.
must have hit him on the right hand.
That's exactly where it got him. Now that's his glove hand, so it might have gotten the wrist above the hand, and right now he is in a lot of pain. Looks like he might be leaving the ball game.
Well, look how he holds that hand. Yeah, he's hurt more seriously apparently than we thought. He's walking towards the Giant dugout. And so they'll be, let's see who'll replace him at first base. Bensinger. Todd Bensinger played first base for the Reds and the Dodgers. Replaces Will Clark.
That is a blow for the Giants because Will Clark, although he hasn't done anything today, has started to hit the baseball for them. And Bensinger, although a pretty good first baseman, nowhere near the caliber of Will Clark swinging the bat. Todd's only hitting 200 this year.
Fans are here from Nashua, Iowa. Kimbra Burke and her boyfriend. 2-0 in favor of the Giants. Vizcaíno dribbled a single to center his first time up. Again the throw and he's back. Jeff Reed behind the plate. The Cubs' best hopes for victory all year long have been to be ahead in the ninth and bring in Randy Meyer. He's had 18 saves and 19 opportunities. You can hardly beat that. The trick is to be ahead going into the 8th or 9th inning.
Giants feel the same way with their stopper Rod Beck, who has saved 17, has a 1.48 ERA. So if they can get the game to him, they're feeling pretty comfortable about it.
Well, I tell you, when you compare their batting order with ours, their chances are much better than ours too.
And their record with the Cubs record. Fortunately, the Giants off to the great start. The Cubs still treading water right around 500.
Here's Bill Swift. There goes a runner. A little tap. They'll end the inning. Over to first to Bensinger to retire the side. No runs, one hit, no errors, one left. We go into the bottom of the third, still 2-0 Giants. McCartney, you were right.
Arnie, I'm on a roll, Arnie. I'm 3 for 3. Your question's got to get a little tougher than this.
One man out. There's a little roller. Barry Bonds is retired. Let's pause here for identification.
This is WGN TV Chicago, America's #1 sports station.
I think I know the answer to Barry Bonds. Get him to come up with nobody on base, you get him out. There's somebody on, he can drive home. He always manages to do so, either with a homer or a base hit. Davey Martinez. He was a 21, 22-year-old youngster, a lot of promise as a Cub. He was traded to Montreal for Mitch Webster. Mitch Webster is still playing with the Dodgers now. And Martinez has been with several clubs. Montreal, Cincinnati. Flat out to right his first time up. Fouled it back. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Two bases on balls led to their second run. And Robbie Thompson drove in with a base hit with 2 out in the second. With 2 out, it was Barry Bonds who drove in their first run in the first. Those are the pitchers tomorrow. Burkett going for his 9th victory of the year. Morgan for his 5th. We're on the air at 2:30 Chicago time on Channel 9. He struck him out. 1, 2, 3. Harry Carey from Candlestick. We're at the end of 3. The Giants are leading 2-0.
Start scoring some runs against Billy Swift.
Billy Swift is a tough customer. He is one of the aces of this staff, and he does throw a lot of ground balls, and that one snuck through the right side.
You look at the Giants ball club, and Stoney, they have been almost unbeatable here at Candlestick. 22-9. In the past, Roger Craig always said, use this ballpark to your advantage. And Dusty Baker has tried to relay his players the same kind of attitude.
The big difference is that Roger Craig didn't have Barry Bonds in the middle of that lineup. He certainly adds to the offense.
Just a little. Bonds has already knocked in a run here today with a first inning 2-out single into left center, bringing in Darren Lewis. RBI by Robbie Thompson in the second made it 2-0, and that's where we stand here opening the 4th. Sandberg a single to start things off. Cubs now with 4 hits against Billy Swift. You know, should Billy Swift ever stay healthy for an entire year, there's no telling what kind of numbers he could put up. His stuff is that good, as evidenced by what the rest of the league hit against him last year when he led the National Leaguers with a 2.08 ERA. And this year, right-handed batters are hitting all of 214, lefties all of 236.
Jim Lefevre has not won a run in this situation. But unfortunately, Mark Grace does not run very well, and you've got a ground ball pitcher on the mound in Billy Swift and the best double play team in the National League in the Giants. So let's see if Mark can get it out of the infield and stay away from the double play.
2-0 now to Mark Grace. Grace singled into left field, stole second base back in the second inning, was stranded right there when Wilkins bounced out to Robbie Thompson.
Sandberg running a little more on this trip. He's 5 for 5 in the stolen base department. And now Swift is going to have to come to Grace with something hittable.
There goes Sandberg, and the pitch is lined into right field. Davey Martinez there, and Sandberg will have to get back to the bag for out number 1. Grace hit it right on the money. Derek May has been swinging at a lot of first pitches here of late. He did the same thing his first time up when he popped to third.
Well, Tom, I think when you go into a slump, and Derek May has been in somewhat of a slump over the last couple of weeks, you don't want to get down in the count. You're afraid the pitcher is going to wipe you out with a good pitch on the corner, and you get over anxious, and consequently the slump deepens. I think you still have to be selective even when you're not swinging the bat very well, and at least he took the first pitch here.
Derek's average has fallen from the 340s down to now 303. Pretty good power numbers, 6 home runs, and he's batted in 33, second best on the team, to, of course, Mark Grace.
This has always been a left-hand hitter's ballpark or a right-hand hitter's park who can go to right field. It's only 328 down the line in right. We pan around for you, and it's very comfortable to hit the ball out down the right field line or in right center. That's the wind tunnel here in Candlestick.
May going after the sinker in the dirt. 1 ball and 1 strike. Sandberg at first, one man out. We're in the top of the 4th inning, and glad you're with us on this just glorious Saturday afternoon from San Francisco, California. We have not seen a cloud the 3 days we've been here. Temperature is very warm today as they appeal up to third, and Bob Davidson said he didn't go around. 2-1. You couldn't ask for a better day for baseball, or a deader day for that matter. Giants have been averaging almost 28,000 fans per game. They've already surpassed the overall attendance figure of 865,000, and that's up almost 40% from this time a year ago. Made some nice changes to the park. There goes the runner. Throw down to second by Reed, and Sandberg is safe at second base. It looked like they had him. He didn't get a good jump, but the throw a little bit high, and it cost Jeff Reed.
The Cubs will run and can run on Jeff Reed. He has everything going for him here because he picks it up nicely out of the dirt, but with the throw head high, Sandberg in before the tag, and a call by John McSherry. Good call by McSherry, although the ball beat him. The distance it took for Clayton to get the ball from his head to the bag allowed Sandberg in ahead of the tag.
3-1 now to Derek May. Giants leading 2-0. And there's strike two. May thought it was high and away. Cubs are 3-5 on this current trip. One more game to go tomorrow following today's ball game, and then it's back home for 7 against the Marlins and the Cardinals. 3-2 pitch, and he went too far. First strikeout of the game for Billy Swift.
It shows a lot of confidence in your slider when you can go to a 3-2. And this is a very bad pitch. It breaks low and in, well out of the strike zone. Almost hits Derek May in the knee. He swings at it, and a disappointing at bat for May, who was well ahead of Swift and doesn't have anything to show for it.
You know, the one thing you always see the very good teams do is collect the big 2-out run scoring base hit. Giants got it from Bonds in the first inning, from Robbie Thompson in the second. Cubs have had a couple of chances to do that today and have been unable to cash in. They have one more try here with Buechele as he's ahead 1-0. Well, we've just been given word on Will Clark. He has been taken to the Palo Alto Medical Clinic over at Stanford University for precautionary x-rays on his right wrist. He had to leave the game in the third inning on a screaming line drive by Dwight Smith that hit him in the right wrist area. And he looked to be in a great deal of pain.
Well, the Giants, you know, holding their breath about the health of Will Clark. On this situation, Steve Buechele, when he's had success, has had it to right center field. And with that in mind, Darren Lewis playing a couple steps over into right center. So the Giants, like every team, have defensive charts. The alignment shows in a situation like this, as you look at Darren Lewis, Buechele will go to right. And let's see what he tries to do with Billy Swift.
1-2 delivery, and he goes into left. That's automatic out country out there. Bonds has it, and that'll do it. One hit, one left. We head for the bottom of the fourth. Still 2-0 San Francisco. Little floater into shallow center field. Sosa got it. Flippin' Sammy. Long drive way back. Forget all about it. Holy cow.
He hits. He runs. He has a lot of fun. Sammy Sosa, now playing on Chicago's very own Channel 9.
Welcome back to Candlestick Park in San Francisco, California. 2-0 Giants lead as we head for the last of the fourth. It'll be the latter third in Dusty Baker's batting order. Royce Clayton, Jeff Reed, and Bill Swift against Mike Harkey. First pitch swinging right at Sandberg on a 2-hopper, and Clayton retired for the second time today.
Royce Clayton has probably made the most improvement from last year to this of any of the Giants. Here's a man hit just .224 last year, but the Giants kept insisting that he could play in the major leagues. Well, they've given him shortstop this year, and he's committed 14 errors, but most of those errors the first month of the season. We've seen him in this series look to be a very smooth shortstop, very dependable on the double play, and he's starting to swing the bat a lot better.
Jeff Reed drew a 1-out walk and later scored in the second inning on a 2-out RBI single by Robbie Thompson. And once again, the same old pattern holding true. The opposition willing to take a walk while the Cubs are not. Trevor Wilson went too deep in the 9th inning before issuing his first pass last night. Of course, he hit a batter, Rick Wilkins, in the 3rd inning. Giants have already drawn 2 walks today, and one of the 2, Jeff Reed, scored a run.
Mike Harkey not throwing the ball too badly today. And with Hibbard possibly going to miss a start, and we don't know yet just exactly what's going to happen with his jammed knee, the health of Harkey becomes a question, and he wants to answer that today.
Lifted into right center field. Willie Wilson over, and he'll flag her down for out number 2.
The reason we talk about the health of Mike Harkey is because he's had a lot of injury problems over the course of his career. Starting in 1989, he was on the disabled list, again on the DL in 90, again on the DL in 91, twice on the disabled list in 92. And here's a man with a lot of talent, but he hasn't shown he can put together a healthy season yet. And with the configuration of the Cubs starting rotation now, Mike Harkey becomes a valuable member of that rotation, and they could ill afford to lose him for any length of time. So you're hoping the shoulder is okay.
Billy Swift off the end of the bat by Harkey. Going to be a tough play for Sandberg, and Swift beat it out. Infield single for Billy Swift, who came in as a .269 batter. He didn't hit that one very hard, but he found the right spot. Harkey unable to get over there and get it.
Mike Harkey doesn't show you the greatest mobility on this play, and once it gets by him, there is no chance to get Swift at first base. Takes a strange hop, and Billy Swift with an infield hit. A rare infield hit for a pitcher.
Darren Lewis batted 3 times in the first 3 innings last night. Here we are in the 4th. It's his 3rd at bat today, and his 2nd hit. But Darren Lewis looks like a different hitter the last 2 nights than we've seen him the last 2 years. He rarely ever turned on a pitch.
Well, working with Bobby Bonds at first base has turned around the career of Darren Lewis. Here was a man whose best bolt was usually a little tapper to the right side or a fly ball to right field. Now he's been able to turn on the ball much more, and he's become an effective leadoff hitter. And the fact that he was an effective leadoff hitter in the eyes of Dusty Baker allowed him to change the batting order, putting Thompson up to the 2 spot and dropping Willie McGee from 1 to 6. When he did that, Tommy, it gave them some protection behind Barry Bonds and allowed the batting order a lot more flexibility with much more speed at the top and a base stealing threat in Darren Lewis. He didn't start out in the number 1 spot because Dusty Baker didn't want that kind of pressure on him to start the season.
Thompson, a little floater down the left field line. This is going to be caught, or no, he came out of his mitt. Swift will score. Lewis will score. May had it for a moment, and when he made impact with the turf, the ball squirted loose, and May is hurt down the left field line. Giants have taken a 4-0 lead, and John Fierro, the trainer, will come racing out to look at Derek May.
I think he shattered his sunglasses, Tommy, and I don't know if he's cut around his face, but it looked like he might have hit the turf with his face when he took the dive. Goes his RBIs 26 and 27 for Robbie Thompson. But the Cubs not concerned about that right now. They're concerned about the health of Derek May. A high fastball just dumped into left field. Here comes Derek May. It looked like a sensational catch. Watch his face. Right there, he hits face first into the turf. The glasses are shattered. He can't find the ball. When he finally does, 2 runs have scored, and everybody out there looking at Derek. And it could be, Tom, there's a couple of prongs on those sunglasses, and they're very prominent. It might be that he's cut right around the eye.
It's exactly where John Fierro is looking right now. Boy, it did indeed look like a spectacular catch made by Derek May. I thought when the ball left the bat, he had no chance of even getting to it. He covered a lot of ground.
Well, I think that he's cut, and I think it was the glasses and those two little prongs that come out. I think Derek is going to be okay. You have to applaud the effort there because it was full out, 100% effort with no thought of bodily harm at all. And Derek May is going to stay in the game, and watch the effort one more time. Derek comes flying out of nowhere, extends his body, and then gets a face full of the turf here in Candlestick Park, but he's going to stay in the game. And what an effort that was. Unfortunately for the Cubs, they're 4 runs down in this one, and Harkey's been touched now for 7 hits in 3 2/3 innings, and that's a familiar pattern for Mike Harkey this year. The league hitting well over 300 against him, and Harkey continues to give up a lot of base hits, of the cheap variety and of the ringing variety.
Harkey came in 57 innings, having allowed 68 hits and walked 19. And as Tony mentioned, 7 hits in 3 2/3 today and a pair of walks.
And all this started with a little infield squibber that Mike Harkey couldn't get off the bat of Billy Swift. So far, it's cost the Cubs 2 runs in this one.
Todd Benzinger batting for the first time since taking over for the injured Will Clark, who got hit in the right wrist with a line drive off the bat of Dwight Smith. Clark on his way to the hospital, and there's activity in the Cub bullpen. Left-hander Chuck McElroy starting to get loose. Benzinger, a 200 batter. Without a home run, 3 runs batted in.
The Cubs used 6 pitchers last night, having 2 of them tossed from the ball game for throwing at the Giant hitters. So the bullpen was very much in evidence in the game last night.
Fouled away. It goes to 1 2 on Benzinger with 2 down, 2 runs in, a 4-0 Giant lead in the bottom of the 4th inning, and Thompson's at second base. McElroy, one of the 2 pitchers thrown out, the other Jose Batista.
And now the pitches starting to pile up for Mike Harkey, who had a 1-2-3 inning in the 3rd, and other than that has been in trouble in the 1st, 2nd, and now here in the 4th.
1 2 to Benzinger, and he fouls it away. Earlier today, the Baltimore Orioles won their 10th consecutive game. They beat the Red Sox 5-1. They looked out of the race 2 weeks ago. Now they're right back in it, a game over 500. Benzinger out on strikes, and that's the inning. Both runs and all 3 hits coming with 2 men out. Giants leave 1. We head for the 5th, 4-0 San Francisco. Effort by Derek May on that floater down the left field line by Robbie Thompson. He almost had it. The ball came loose, scoring 2 Giant runs, making it 4-0, and May appears to be all right. Stayed in the game.
You have to applaud that effort, Tom, because this is not a safety first game. You have to go at everything 100%, and Derek May certainly did there. And almost came up with a spectacular catch to try to keep his team right in the middle of this one, but unfortunately the ball trickled out. So the Cubs have some catching up to do against Billy Swift.
And they have their main man to lead it off in Rick Wilkins. 2 balls and no strikes. Look at this road trip. 6 home runs, and this is just the 9th game of the trip. 11 batted in. And a .423 batting average. Hit another home run here last night, a 2-run shot off Wilson in the 7th for his team leading 12th. Here's the first walk of the day issued by Billy Swift.
Our Any Questions question today comes from Carl Lennius from Cape Coral, Florida. Carl's 15 years old. He's got an interesting question. He wants to know, Tom, if a batter swings at a pitch, but in the process of swinging, the ball hits the batter, how would that be ruled? And it's ruled as a strike. If a guy swings at a pitch, even if the ball, let's say a curveball, drops and maybe hits him in the leg, it is a strike. He does not go to first. So we thank Carl Lennius from Cape Coral, Florida for that inquiry. And we will show you the address if you want to write to any questions. Coming up after this.
Willie Wilson, the batter, looking at his strike, and there it is. WGN TV. Any questions for kids' sakes? 2501 West Bradley Place, Chicago 60618. We welcome your questions.
The only qualification, we would like you to be under 18 years of age.
0-2 as Swift paints the outside corner twice to Willie Wilson.
Willie has had very little success with Billy Swift over the course of his career. And of course that includes a stint in the American League for both of these young men.
Wilkins at first, nobody out. Giants lead it in the 5th inning, 4-0. And that ball hit Wilson. An 0-2 pitch that got him on the right knee, and you could hear it all the way up here. Wilson in a great deal of pain. It hit him flush on that front right knee. Well, we had plenty of fireworks here last night. Wilkins hit by Trevor Wilson. Then later Wilson was hit by Batista when Batista and manager Jim Lefebvre were thrown out. And later Batista hit Carrion.
It's a low end slider, and it gets Willie on the inside of the right knee. And we're hoping it hit more flesh than bone, because Willie is in a lot of pain, and those legs are his livelihood. That's what's kept him in the major leagues all these years. So he can ill afford to have any injury there, and it looks like he's going to stay in the game. And he gets a hand from the crowd. And let's listen to just the sound of the ball hitting Willie Wilson.
Oh, we could hear it all the way up here.
Now that's an injury that might stiffen up as the game moves along. So although Willie is running at first base, or standing on first base but ready to run, a couple of innings and that might stiffen up on him, and hopefully he'll be okay.
I don't know how wise it is to keep him in. He clearly is not going to be able to run right now. I mean, he's still standing over there. He did show a lot of courage by getting up and walking down to first, but now he's bent over again. Jose Martinez is next to him, and the first base umpire Wally Bell is saying, hey, could you get somebody out here to take a look at this guy? And Wilson now is saying no, but I don't think he has much on that knee right now.
Well, he wants to stay in the game, even though he's walking like Dennis Weaver in McLeod. We'll see if he can tune it up and get it going around the base paths if he has to.
Pinch hitter now for Mike Harkey is Doug Jennings. Runners at first and second, nobody out, and Jennings fouls it away. So Harkey allows 7 hits and 4 runs in his 4 innings of work. He fanned 3 and walked 2.
Now Jim Lefebvre is coming out, and I think they're going to take Willie out of the game, and this is a wise decision, because we've told you that Willie makes his living with his legs, and you want to take a look at that, Tommy. If there is some swelling, they might want to get a picture of that like they did with Will Clark. And Sammy Sosa coming out, John Fierro coming out, and Willie Wilson's going to hobble into the dugout, into the clubhouse area, and they probably will put some ice on it, certainly immediately, and John Fierro will make a determination if they want to take a look at it.
And believe me, Willie Wilson's not one of these guys that would just walk out of the lineup or walk out of a game unless he were really hurting, because he is a pretty tough guy. Two on and nobody out. So Sosa will come in, and more than likely we'll see Dwight Smith move into center field and Sosa take over in right. Doug Jennings with a count of 1-1. Jennings has seen some of the tougher National League right-handers when he's been given a chance to pinch hit. John Wetland a couple of times, Doc Gooden, and now Billy Swift.
And that's the plight of the first left-handed bat off the bench. And this is a tough situation for Jennings. He wants to get the ball in the air somewhere.
Swift having a tough time finding the strike zone. He did not walk a batter, didn't even come close through the first 4. He's walked 1, hit 1 to open the 5th, and now Dusty Baker going to come out for a visit.
Dusty's done a remarkable job with the pitching staff here in San Francisco, and it's most unusual for a first-year manager. Just about every manager, when he gets to the major leagues, has managed somewhere else, and he knows when to bunt, when to hit and run. That's not the tough part of managing. The tough part of managing is the manipulation of the bullpen. And the guys who will go down as great managers are guys who have used the bullpen so that when it comes down to the pennant stretch in August and September, he's got some fresh arms. And I'm talking about managers like Tony La Russa, guys like Earl Weaver, managers in the modern era of Jim Leland, Whitey Herzog when he managed St. Louis, always seemed to have fresh arms when it came down to the pennant stretch in August and September. And Dusty Baker is getting a lot of applause here from the people associated with the Giants about his handling of the pen and the whole pitching staff.
Jennings fouled it back, evens the count at 2-2. Wilkins at second base, down at first. It's Sammy Sosa. Nobody out. Cubs trying to climb back into this one, trailing 4-0 in the top of the 5th. Lifted in the air to short left field. Barry Bonds drops the shades, and he has it. Out number 1.
There is normally no such thing as an easy fly ball here in Candlestick Park. However, last night and today, the wind has not been all that much of a factor. And it is remarkable that Darren Lewis, who plays center field here, has never made an error in his major league career, because this is as tough a center field as any in all of baseball. And he's been perfect so far.
White Smith, 1 of 2, singled his last time up into right and looks at ball 1 down low. Smitty was 16 batted in. There you see Darren Lewis. It's a very fine defensive outfield with, of course, the multi-Gold Glove Award winning Barry Bonds in left. Lewis could win one down the road in center, and Martinez a good defender. So too is Willie McGee out in right.
Well, the advantage they have here is that with the exception of Bonds, who's been a full-time left fielder, the other 3 have been full-time center fielders at one time or another in their major league careers, and so you know they've got tremendous speed, and they provide the Giants with a very good defensive club.
2 on, 1 out. 2-0 to Smith. Lined into center, but again Lewis a sure bet and handles it for the second out.
If you look back at this road trip, then eventually the Cubs will look back at this trip and evaluate just what happened to them. You would have to say, Tom, that squandered opportunities was the name of the game. You look at the left on base, the runners left on base in scoring position, and that's the whole trip in a nutshell for the Cubs. Opportunities they've had just about in every game where they haven't been able to take advantage of it, and eventually the other team just does take advantage and beats them.
That's been the story again here today. All 4 Giant runs have been scored on base hits that came with 2 men out. Vizcaíno singled to right in the first inning, bounced to the mound, ending the 3rd. Still 2 on, now 2 away, and there's ball 1 outside and low. Outfield shading Vizcaíno, a step or 2 to go the other way. Lewis a few steps into left center. And it's back to Swift off of his body, and everybody's going to be safe. So the bases are loaded now for Sandberg. It is an infield single for Vizcaíno. Down at third, it's Wilkins. Sosa to second, Vizcaíno on at first.
And they're going to talk with Billy Swift to find out if he's okay. Vizcaíno rifles this one right back at Swift. He keeps it in the infield, saves a run, but now has to face Sandberg with the bases loaded. They talk about third base as the hot corner. The reality of it is when a pitcher releases the ball, he's no more than 55 feet away from a guy who is trying to take his head off if you get the ball out over the plate. Third baseman 90 feet or more away from a hitter. So the pitcher has to have the quickest hands in the infield, and that's why most every ball that's hit off his body is given a base hit.
All right, the base is loaded for the Cubs' big bat, Ryne Sandberg. 4 home runs and 16 batted in. He's 1 for 2 today with a stolen base, and he looks at a good breaking pitch for strike 1.
Swift has thrown 2 wild pitches this year, and if he tries to get a little too much on that slider, one might wind up in the dirt.
High chopper foul, and Swift is jumped in front of Sandberg at no balls and 2 strikes.
And if you're Rick Wilkins on third base here, you're waiting to see if one of those breaking balls winds up in the dirt. You have to have all your momentum going forward when the pitch is on the way to home. And anything out of that cutout circle, you should be able to score from third.
0-2, the base is loaded, 2 down. Cubs trail 4-0. And Sandberg barely made contact off the end of the bat foul. Swift getting down to business. He has made 3 straight terrific pitches on Sandberg.
Although they were all curveballs and sliders, Tom, they were all different speeds. The last one being a little bit harder with a shorter break. He doesn't want to throw a strike to Sandberg here. He'd like to nip at the outside corner. And if he does, Rhino's going to have to go out there and get it to stay alive.
Wilkins, Sosa, Vizcaino aboard, 2 down. The 0-2 pitch. Lined into left field, a base hit. Sosa rounding third, and he will score. Sandberg, a 2-out 0-2 single to left, knocking in 2 and chopping the Giants' lead in half.
Big hit for Sandberg, driving in his 18th run of the year. And I can't believe Billy Swift went to the high fastball. 0-2. He throws one out over the plate. Sandberg looked terrible on breaking balls, but pitchers make mistakes too, and that one cost him a couple of runs. So the Cubs do cut the lead in half, and they're right back in this one as Swift is not out of the inning yet.
Sandberg at first, Vizcaino at second, 2 away, and Grace a batter. He singled to right, stole a base into second, line to right, back in the 4th. Driven into right center field, on the run Martinez. It'll go to the wall. Vizcaino scoring. They're waving Sandberg. He'll score, and this game is even at 4 apiece. So the 2-out base hits the Cubs have finally cashed in on here in the 5th inning. 2-run single by Sandberg, game-tying 2-run double by Grace.
The 20th double of the year for Mark Grace. He's now driven home 46. This man is on a pace to drive in 120 runs this year. The bullpen getting ready in a hurry for San Francisco. And the Cubs with a brand new game and a chance to go ahead here with Derek May up. It's Righetti and Burba throwing in the pen, as the Cubs have gotten a couple of key 2-out base hits.
Derek May, a chance to knock in the go-ahead run and give the Cubs their first lead, not only of this game but of the series, and they're going to intentionally walk him to face right-handed batting Steve Buechele, who waits on deck. So the inning started with a walk and a hit batsman, but then Swift retired Jennings and Smith. Vizcaino an infield single to load him up. Sandberg a 0-2 pitch on a fastball, a 2-run single into left. And then Vizcaino and Sandberg score on the double to right center by Grace.
Mark Grace now with 20 doubles solidifies his lead in doubles in the National League. Will Cordero of Montreal has 18. Ken Caminiti with 17, but Grace atop the leaderboard. And that's what we were talking about. Mark Grace is having a banner year, both with the glove and with the bat, as he's also climbing up the leaderboard in runs batted in, with Matt Williams on top and Darren Daulton second.
0-1 to Buechele. He is a 9th man to bat in this 4-run Cub 5th inning. Grace at second, May after the intentional walk at first. Buechele has popped to Robbie Thompson and fly to Barry Bonds in left. 0 for 2. 1-0 to Buechele. And he fooled him with the off-speed pitch. 1-1. See the runners May at first and Grace down at second base. Grace representing the go-ahead run here in this 4-4 game in the top of the 5th. And this, oh, it took a high hop, and Clayton able to handle it, getting the force at second. 9 men back in a 4-run, 3-hit inning. Cubs leave 2. We go to the bottom of the 5th, dead even. Cubs tie it up in the top of the 5th with 4 runs against Billy Swift. As we mentioned, Sammy Sosa staying in the game to play right field. Dwight Smith goes from right to center. And now on the pitch, much to the delight of that pretty young lady, is left-hander Chuck McElroy.
And that's how you make baseball fans, folks. You take your little children out to the ballpark and try to explain to them what a wonderful game this is and a beautiful day in San Francisco. As Dwight Smith in center, Sammy Sosa in right, and Chuck McElroy on the hill.
Matt Williams to lead it off. He is struck out and lined to center 0 for 2.
McElroy 2-1, ERA 4.56, on for the 22nd time. Chuck pitched in the ball game yesterday, was given the boot unceremoniously by Bob Davidson.
That was on an 0-2 fastball that hit Mark Carrion. Clearly McElroy was not trying to hit him. 1-1 to Matt Williams.
So Mike Harkey, a no decision in this one. Billy Swift still in the game with a chance to either win or lose. But Mike Harkey will just get an appearance today.
Matt Williams, identical numbers in home runs and RBIs as Cleveland outfielder Albert Bell. 18 and 53 in those respective categories.
Last year, Matt hit just 20 home runs with 66 driven in, and that was in 146 games. You can see that Matt Williams, who had a personal trainer in the offseason, doesn't like to talk much about that, but came to spring training and rededicated himself to having a big year this year, knowing that he was going to hit in front of Barry Bonds, and that never hurts.
No. Bonds doesn't have to worry about anybody hitting behind him. He'll just rake. And Williams gone on the high heat. 1 batter, 1 strikeout for McElroy.
For the 42nd time, Matt Williams goes down on strikes. Second time today, a high fastball away. And I always felt that the inning is very important when you score and tie up a ball game to hold down the opposition. That gives your team a psychological lift. And McElroy, if he can get through this one, let the Cub bats come up and steal one here in San Francisco from the Giants.
Barry Bonds 1 of 2, an RBI single in the Giant first inning, and looks at a breaking ball strike. Straightaway center field. Smith will come in. Out number 2. Bonds hit it hard, but the wind's pushing it back.
Tommy, what do you think of that trade that was made by Al Harrison and the New York Mets, sending Tony Fernandez back to Toronto and acquiring Darren Jackson, who is back in the National League with the Mets?
Well, I like it. I think Tony Fernandez, after all the physical problems he's had this year, we talked about the kidney stones when we were in New York just a few days ago, he's too good of a player to be putting up the kind of numbers he has so far this year. And as far as he's concerned, you're walking away from a terrible team onto one of the best teams in baseball, the defending world champs, where he started his career. And well, Darren Jackson has had 3 great years consecutively as a National Leaguer, was struggling in the American League. So I think a pretty good trade, but I think it might be setting up something else, because Darren Jackson should be an everyday center fielder.
And they are getting a good platoon system out of Orsulak and Gallagher, hitting about 305 as a platoon system in center field. Maybe it sets up a Bobby Bonilla deal.
Could be. There have been rumors to that effect in New York.
Well, with the size of the payroll the team has, and with the production they've had out of the ball club this year, you would think that Al Harrison would like to start, if not a fire sale, a little house cleaning with the Mets.
Martinez down 1-2, and apparently at the press conference yesterday announcing that deal, Harrison, along with manager Dallas Green, said there are more moves coming. They promised him. That doesn't do the New York fans much good. They're only 22.5 out of first. 20 games under 500.
But that's deceptive, Tom, because they haven't played that well.
2-2 on the appeal up to third. Martinez did not go around.
19 and 39 coming into today's action. 8.5 games in back of the Florida Marlins. That's almost unbelievable.
There's strike 3, and McElroy a perfect 5th inning with a couple of strikeouts. We head for the 6th. Cubs and Giants tied at 4. Four ball game. Cubs and Giants. I'm Tom Brenneman along with Steve Stone. We've played 5. Billy Swift still on the mound. He'll be facing Rick Wilkins, Sammy Sosa, and then Chuck McElroy. Well, a dribbler down to Todd Benzinger. He'll race to the bag in time. 1 pitch, 1 out for Swift to open the 6th inning.
That was a pretty good slider by Billy Swift, and that's the one weapon that the right-hander has against the left-hand hitters. It looks like a fastball till the last instant. A hitter measures it, just about ready to swing and get it in the middle of the bat, and it moves in on their hands and ties up the left-hand hitter. And that was a good one by Swift, who had a very tough 5th inning. Highlighted, Tommy, by a terrible pitch to Ryan Sandberg, 0-2. It cost him 2 on that one and allowed Mark Grace to come up with a 2-run double. And that's where we stand, tied at 4 with hits identical at 7. Neither team has committed an error.
Sammy batting for the first time. Came on to run for Willie Wilson, who was hit in the right knee 1 inning ago and had to leave and go back into the clubhouse. Each team with 4 runs, each team with 7 hits, and neither team has committed a defensive miscue. 2-0. And it is a foul ball down the left field line. Looks like Sammy is looking for something inside. He's kind of stepping out of the bucket last 2 pitches here against Swift. Maybe one to hammer down the line.
Kind of surprised that Matt Williams is even with the bag at third. Now you think about the bunt perhaps on the first pitch, but ahead 2-0, and Sammy is a power hitter. You're doing him a favor moving in as close as Matt Williams is, because Sammy can rifle the ball down third base way.
2-2. Giants single runs in each of the first 2 innings made it 4-0 with a pair in the bottom of the 4th, but the Cubs strike for 4 in the 5th against Billy Swift, who enters this game with a .309 earned run average and a 7-3 overall record. He has not had a complete game on the year. Full count. You mentioned early, not only has Dusty done a good job in terms of handling his bullpen, but he's been very smart with a pitcher like Swift, who, like Mike Harkey, has a track record of getting injured.
He doesn't allow him too often to go that deep in a ball game, and he will go to the bullpen if Swift has the lead.
And it hit his bat. Jeff Reed caught it. Sammy is claiming it hit him in the arm. He is right in the face of home plate umpire Bill Hahn, and now Jim Lefebvre going to step in between them. Sammy pointing at the right elbow and saying that's where it hit, not the bat.
Jim Lefebvre out there to make sure that Sammy Sosa stays in the game. He doesn't want Sammy to get right in the face of Bill Hahn and get ejected. Cubs running out of outfielders in this one with Willie Wilson gone into the locker room after getting hit with a pitch. And now Lefebvre checking out the arm of Sammy Sosa. I believe that the call is going to stand, however. This is a judgment call, and there really is no basis here for any kind of reversal. Sammy's the only one who knows for sure, and he's claiming it hit him, but unfortunately for the Cubs, they'll probably catch a bad break, and Sammy will be retired on strikes.
Well, now Lefebvre and Sosa will walk back to the dugout. We really can't tell from this replay. We'll take a look anyway.
Sammy says it caught the right elbow. And on this angle, you really can't tell if it's the bat or the elbow. Sammy thought it was the elbow because he's going to first. And he is not a happy man as he descends into the dugout.
Well, McElroy now the batter, 0 for 3 on the season, but Chuck can hit. He is the best hitting pitcher the Cubs have on the team. Sammy's still upset back in the dugout, closing in on Derek Bell for the National League lead in strikeouts. McElroy only hit .667 last year. And career .438. That's pretty good.
Well, it's good to know, Tom, because if you get into some extra inning games, the Cubs have not played a lot of them this year. Chuck wouldn't be a bad man to put in, especially against a right-handed reliever, because, as you say, he's a pretty good hitter.
Bounces one through the middle, but Thompson is there, and Swift with a perfect 6. We head for the bottom of the inning. Cubs and Giants are tied at 4. Deadlocked here in San Francisco's Candlestick Park as the Giants come to bat in the home half of the 6th against Chuck McElroy on relief of right-hander Mike Harkey, who allowed 4 runs on 7 hits in 4 innings. But he will not figure in the decision today. Cubs came up with 4 runs in the top of the 5th against Billy Swift to tie her up. And again, Jose Bautista getting loose in the bullpen. Clayton in a deep right center. Sosa drops the shades and makes the grab shy of the track.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Chicago National League Ball Club, which has a right of approval of the announcers and is intended solely for the private non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or the use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Chicago National League Ball Club is prohibited.
Well, Dave Righetti starting to get loose in the bullpen. Billy Swift is due up 3rd here in the home half of the 6th inning. Jeff Reed looks at a strike. Reed has walked, scored, and lined to center. Swift has come into the on-deck circle. Have to wait and see whether or not he'll bat. 1 ball, 1 strike.
With about a .290 batting average, it's not a bad idea, even if you're going to go to the bullpen, let Billy Swift hit. That way you save a pinch hitter for later in the game.
Well, the deadlock could be broken. Sosa back to the wall. Goodbye.
There's the foghorn. That symbolizes a home run, the 4th by Reed, his 8th driven in. And he scored 2 of the Giants' 5 runs. Jeff Reed, a late addition to this ball club in spring training. Doesn't get a chance to play often, but he pays dividends here. Getting a fastball out over the plate and going way back over the head of Sammy Sosa. And the Giants have a 1-run lead.
Righetti will sit down again in the bullpen as now Swift is staked to his 2nd lead of the afternoon. Swift 1 for 1, an infield single, and scored in the 4th after a sacrifice in the 2nd. And he's down 0-2. Boy, oh boy. Well, you battle your way back as the Cubs have done so many times this year, not necessarily on this road trip, but through the first 2 months of the season, and then the bullpen gives it up. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Let's pause for a station ID on the Cubs television network.
This is WGN TV Chicago, America's #1 sports station.
High chopper over the mound. Sandberg coming in, and he'll not get Swift. Swift has his 2nd infield hit.
Two infield hits, probably a total of 100 feet combined, and Billy Swift is 2 for 2 today. Sandberg on the short hop tries to get it over there as quickly as he can. He can't get it over there in time, and Jim Lefevre coming out from the dugout. And Tom, the Cubs 11th in the National League in pitching with an ERA that's going to be over .410. And when you're pitching like that, you don't hold many leads. Randy Myers has been the one man out of the bullpen you can depend on, along with Jose Bautista, who's going to come in this game. But Bautista's been used mostly in the middle in non-essential performances.
Well, we're going to step out, take a break. Jeff Reed's one-out solo home run has given the Giants a 5-4 advantage. We'll be back in a flash.
In the boot after he hit Trevor Wilson. So he comes into this one with a man at first, although we don't know who that man is going to be yet because Billy Swift went back into the dugout. But Swift, I guess, is coming back out. He's going to run for himself despite the fact the bullpen is still up and throwing for Dusty Baker. So Bautista comes into this one 1-1. The ERA shrinking at 2.88 on for the 19th time. And there you see Burba. And it looks like Rogers or Hickerson, the left-hander.
Yeah, Hickerson. Darren Lewis has been aboard all 3 times. Pair of singles, has scored twice and drawn a walk. 1 out, 1 on. And Bautista deals on the inside edge. Strike 1 to Darren Lewis. Giants jumped out to a 4-0 lead at the end of 4. Cubs tied it at 4 in the top of the 5th. But Jeff Reed's solo bomb to right field here in the last of the 6th has given the Giants a 1-run advantage. Lewis, his 3rd hit of the game. I've never seen Darren Lewis hit the ball as hard in a series, much less a game, as he has today.
And I've never seen him hit the ball as many times on the left side of second base as he's hit the ball in this series. So Darren Lewis much improved. And now Bautista is going to have to face a red-hot Robbie Thompson, who's 3 for 3 with 3 runs driven in today. Thompson had a 21-game hitting streak earlier this year.
2 on, 1 out. Thompson looks at a strike. And Rick Wilkins going to come out and visit with Bautista. Yeah, pretty good day for Robbie.
Thompson has grounded into 6 double plays this year, and the bullpen continues to work for the Cubs, and it looks like Paul Assenmacher. But the trouble at hand is the trouble for Jose Bautista facing Robbie Thompson. Outfield straight away for Thompson, who at times will show some surprising power, especially on the fastball middle in and above the belt.
And Bautista going to back off the rubber. Thompson does not even step out of the box. He's ready to hit. 3 out of 3, a double, 2 singles, 3 batted in on the afternoon. Swift at second, Lewis on at first. And a big hack fouled it straight back. Later tonight on WGN, a select group of commandos goes behind enemy lines to destroy a bridge crucial to the Nazi war effort. Harrison Ford and Robert Shaw star in tonight's action theater presentation, Force 10 from Navarone. Tonight at 10:30 on WGN Channel 9. Giants leading 5-4 here in the last of the 6. 2 on and 1 out. 1 and 2 now to Thompson.
Well, if you're just joining us, Will Clark had to leave the game early. Got hit in the wrist on a blast off the bat of Dwight Smith. And it sure helps the Cub effort to know that it's not Clark in the on-deck circle, but Todd Benzinger, who's a pretty decent hitter, but not Will Clark.
That'll get through the hole in the left field. They're going to hold Billy Swift at third as Derek May rushed in to pick it up and fire it back into Buechele. Thompson is 4 out of 4. And the bases are loaded for Benzinger.
This one, a seeing eye base hit, just threads the needle between Buechele and Vizcaino. And the bases full of Giants.
Robbie Thompson started the game at 296. With the 4 hits, he's jumped up 14 big ones to 310 on the year.
Now, Benzinger is a switch hitter. But Jim Lefevre would rather face him from the left side, where he's hitting 139 coming in, as opposed to 444 as a right-hand hitter.
Ball 1 high and away. Jeff Reed solo home run off McElroy with 1 out here in the 6th. Gave the Giants a 5-4 lead. That's where we stand. But the sacks are jammed with only 1 out for Benzinger. 1-1.
Well, with all the bombers on this Giant team, the one thing that's been lost this year is the ability to get out Robbie Thompson, who's hitting a robust .583 against the Cubs this year. So nobody on the Cubs staff can get him out.
Swift, Lewis, and Thompson aboard. 1-1 pitch to Benzinger, high and away. 2-1. Matt Williams waiting on deck. Batista's come in relief of McElroy and served up back-to-back singles to the right-handed batting Darren Lewis and then Robbie Thompson. Two-one delivery on the way. Swing and a miss. Count even up.
Batista needs a strikeout here, and there is not much doubt about that, because he's got Matt Williams due on deck, and although he's 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts, he's not the man you'd most want to face with the bases loaded.
2-2 to Benzinger. Here's a wind and a pitch and a chopper to Grace. He's going to come home, and do they get the force? Yes, they do. Wilkins had to lay the tag because his foot was pulled off the plate. A fine play by Wilkins, putting the tag on Billy Swift. 2 away in the inning, and the bases are still loaded.
Heads up play by Mark Grace. You can't turn 2 on this ball. The only thing you have is a play at the plate, and a good play by Wilkins the other end. He comes off the plate, and now he's got to put the tag on Swift. And Tommy, when you don't pinch run, you wind up with a pitcher in a situation here. Normally, a good base runner has got to slide and make Wilkins dive for him. He doesn't slide. He's tagged out, and that was no pinch runner.
Well, Batista, one big out left to go. The major league's leading home run hitter and RBI man. Benzinger on the fielder's choice at first, Thompson at second, and Lewis is now down at third. Good pickup by Wilkins on a pitch in the dirt.
Batista has one wild pitch this year that was almost number 2, but Wilkins saved a run. And we'll watch Wilkins doing what a catcher should do, shifting his weight, not necessarily trying to catch the ball, but block the ball and keep it in front of him.
San Francisco with the bases loaded. They have scored 1 here in the 6th inning to break a 4-4 tie and turn it into a 5-4 lead. Outfield very deep, playing Williams to pull. The 1-0 delivery. Chop foul, count even up at 1-1. Assenmacher ready if need be down in the bullpen with a left-handed batting. Barry Bonds on deck. But Batista trying to end it right here. Batista okaying the sign. Bases loaded. 1-1 delivery with 2 down to Williams. And a fly ball in the deep right. Sosa with room. And it's out of the inning for Jose Batista. The Giants get a run on 4 hits. They leave 3. Harry back in the 7th. A 1-run San Francisco lead.
Well, again, everybody, Harry Carey with Steve Stone and Tom Brenneman. Brian Hickerson's going to be the new pitcher for the Giants, who lead 5-4 here as we go into the top of the 7th.
Hickerson at 0-1, the ERA 4.50, on for the 25th time.
Swift allowed 7 hits, 4 runs in his 6 innings. He walked 2 and hit 1, and struck out 2. Hickerson. Benjamin now playing shortstop. Mike Benjamin at short for the Giants.
Kind of surprised at the move of Dusty Baker. He knew that he was going to take out Billy Swift after the inning, and yet he didn't pinch run for him. And Benjamin might have scored. Swift did not slide at the plate when Rick Wilkins was taken off the plate on an errant throw by Mark Grace. And Swift came in standing up, as most pitchers will do, and he got tagged out. Whereas Benjamin, who's used to running the bases, might have slid around Wilkins. The inning might have continued, but the Cubs got a break.
0-1 the count. Curveball in there, a strike call. Dwight Smith facing a left-hander, which he rarely does. Now the 0-2 pitch. Way outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Cubs trailing by a run. We're in the top of the 7th. A little bit low and inside. 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Smith, Vizcaino, and Sandberg coming up in this inning. Grounder going to Robbie Thompson over to first. Easy out. 1 gone.
Paul Assenmacher continues to throw in the bullpen, and undoubtedly he will come in. I think the day is done for Bautista, who did a fine job getting out of the 6th inning. And there's a look at Assenmacher with Bonds and Martinez due first up in the 7th for the Giants. Jim Lefebvre wants a left-hander in there to face him and try to neutralize them.
1 out, nobody on. Vizcaino, 2 out of 3.
Here's a couple of Cubs injury updates.
Dickerson's 1 none, lost 1.
Pitcher Mike Harkey left the game with stiffness in his right shoulder. And the outfielder Roy Williamson left the game with a bruised right knee. This status is day-to-day.
Willie Wilson, it's announced, has a bruised right knee. His status day-to-day. And Harkey had a stiff right shoulder. And that's why he left the game.
Well, as we speculated yesterday, when they moved Mike Harkey back a day, it wasn't for no good reason. It was the fact that he was suffering some shoulder problems. They continued today, and he's listed as day-to-day.
There's a pitch. A little low. 2 balls and a strike. Vizcaino sharpened up as if to bunt. 1 out. Well, that isn't only Las Vegas, Nevada. There's a lot of fans of Mike Morgan. Here's a pitch. Bouncing ball. Benjamin is sharp. Throws across the diamond for the out. Heather Myron and Preston Gumet here with their parents to see their favorite player, Mike Morgan of the Cubs. They're visiting from Citrus Heights, California. There's Mike right there, who pitched tomorrow. 2 out, nobody on. And here's Sandberg, who opened the door to the 4-run rally with 2 out by the Cubs that tied up the ball game in the 5th. With the bases loaded, he drove in 2 runs, and Grace followed with a 2-run double, and just like that, the game was tied. And before you could appreciate that, Jeff Reed of Joliet Township High School hit his 4th home run of the year to give the Giants their current 5-4 lead. One ball, 1 strike. Two men are out. Lined right to Bensinger. Sandberg lined to Bensinger to retire the side. 1, 2, 3. They go on the bottom of the 7th. 5-4 Giants. Paul Assenmacher becomes a new Cub pitcher. Boy, every day we use 3, 4, 5, 6 pitchers.
Well, yesterday was 6. Assenmacher the 4th today. He released for Bautista, who threw 2/3 of an inning and got out of a very tough jam in the 6th. Paul comes in at 1-1, ERA 4.57, out for the 27th time. Giving up 3 home runs in 21 2/3 innings, while fanning 16, walking 7. He pitched the 8th inning yesterday. He walked 1, fanned 1, didn't give up any runs, and the career against the Giants, not very impressive, with a 4.515 ERA and a 1-3 record.
Barry Bonds takes the first pitch, a strike call. Vince Marino from Chicago's on hand. So's Pete and Carol O'Neill from Waunakee, Wisconsin. 1 ball, 1 strike. High pop fly, back, out of play. Onto the roof above our head. Lincoln Hurst here from Arlington Heights. 5-4 Giants, who've out-hit the Cubs 11-7. Fastball inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Swung, and he foul-tipped it. Suzanne Farrell here pulling for the Cubs. 2 balls, 2 strikes. A high pop foul. It should be in play. Oh, a great catch by Mark Gray. Rick Wilkins couldn't locate the ball, and Gray sized up the situation and broke into a sprint and made a fine running catch. And Asamacher, too, tried to go over there and make the play. He ought to be well winded after that long run. Boy, Grace on the dead run made the catch. 1 out. Bond is 1 out of 4.
We're heading on 3:25 here in San Francisco, and that's when the wind starts to pick up. You can take a look at the pants of John McSherry out at second base and know that it is starting to get windy in the middle of the diamond. John's anchored pretty well, but his pants are taking a beating.
Dave Martinez, nothing out of 3, out on strikes twice. Sam, you made the pants too baggy. 1 out, nobody on. The only time Barry Bonds got a hit today was the only time he came up with men on base. The 3 times he failed, nobody was on. 1 ball, 1 strike. Curveball in there, a beauty. Craig Marty from Pittsburgh, California, on hand today. Cubs on only 2 more chances. They trail by a run. There's a line drive, base hit to left field. Martinez rounds first, will return. That brings out Benjamin, who replaced Rice Clayton at shortstop. Benjamin hitting .167, 1 homer and 5 RBI. There's a high fly ball down the right field line, foul. Lynn and Jim Canassi from Northwest Indiana on hand. Benjamin. Out of Arizona State. Bouncing ball, the runner was going. No play at second. They throw to first. Vizcaíno throws out Benjamin. The hit and run was on. So there's 2 out, and Jeff Reed is the hitter. It's his home run that's the difference in the ball game right now.
He hit that home run against left-hander Chuck McElroy, and so he's left in to face left-hander Paul Ossenbacher.
Good fastball strike call. Joy Walke from Chicago. On hand.
Bullpen up and going in a hurry for San Francisco.
Strike 2. And he's ahead of him 0-2. Giants are leading 5-4.
Jackson and Rogers loosening up in the bullpen.
High fastball. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The Melgans are here from Buffalo, Michigan. He had a good cut, fouled it back. Two out. The Cubs finish their road trip tomorrow, then on to Chicago, arriving about 11:30 p.m. Here's a curve outside. William Ping from the United States Navy watching the ball game here. Struck him out with a curve. That ends the inning. 1 hit, 1 left, no runs. At the end of 7, the Cubs trailing by a 1 little tiny run, 5-4. Harry Carey back at Candlestick Park as we go into the top of the 8th. Leading it off will be Mark Grace. The Cubs trail by a run, and time is running out.
Hickerson still on the mound, but Mike Jackson loosening up in the bullpen in case Hickerson has some difficulty.
It'll be Grace and May, 2 left-handed hitters, to start the 8th. Grace has driven in 2 runs, his 45th and 46th of the year.
Cubs would like to make it happen here because they don't want to have to face Rod Beck with the save on the line in the 9th.
Here's a fastball. He started a swing, held up in time.
Beck this year, almost unbelievably, has only walked 4 while fanning 41 in 30 1/3 innings.
There's a high fly ball. Right field, Martinez. Under the ball, makes the catch. Grace flies out, 1 gone. On this road trip, the Cubs have left 68 men on base, 41 of them in scoring position. That's the kind of a road trip it's been. 1 out, nobody on. Swings, fouls it off. Boy, these Giants continue to roll. The pitch. Swung and he missed.
Benzinger over toward the line at first base to make sure he takes away the 2-base hit. But Matt Williams well off the line down the third base line for Derek May.
There's a drive. Right field going to be caught by Davey Martinez. That ball was well hit. 2 gone. The Phillies are 25 games over 500 in the National League East. The Giants are 17 over 500 in the National League West. The Giants lead by 5.5 in the West. The Phillies by 10.5 in the East.
I think we're going to see Mike Jackson coming on to face Steve Buechele. And we're going to get a catching change in the flip-flop batting order. I think it's going to be Kurt Manwaring going in behind the plate. And Mike Jackson coming in for the bullpen as Dusty Baker leaving nothing to chance. Not trusting that Hickerson could keep the ball in the ballpark with Buechele up. So he's going to bring in his tough right-handed setup man, Mike Jackson.
All right, we'll have more for you following this message. Kurt Manwaring is the catcher, replacing Jeff Reed, and Mike Jackson, the pitcher, replacing Hickerson, who retired 5 men in a row. Everything Dusty Baker seems to do turns out right.
Mike Jackson at 3-1, ERA 187, on for the 37th time. He only has 1 save, and his job is to get the game to Rod Beck.
Curve in there, a strike call.
His job here is very simple. Retire Steve Buechele. If he doesn't, probably Kevin Rogers will be brought in to face Rick Wilkins.
Swung and a miss. Buechele is nothing out of 6 in the series.
And there's the ace stopper of this ball club, Rod Beck, with a 1.48 ERA and 17 saves.
A bit outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 out. Top of the 8th, 5-4 in favor of the Giants. If the Giants win, they'll be 18 games above 500. Shot him out and made him look bad. 1, 2, 3. Nothing across. We go in the bottom of the 8th. 5-4 Giants. Harry Carey back at Candlestick Park. Bob Scanlon's taking over as the pitcher. Ray Sanchez comes in to play shortstop, while Jose Vizcaíno shifts over to third base, which means that Buechele is out of the ball game, and that's the spot that Scanlon was hit in.
Scanlon 1-3 this year, 4.67 ERA, on for the 30th time. And with Rod Beck getting ready to go in the bullpen, Scanlon would love to keep it at a 1-run deficit. Tough enough to get 1 against Rod Beck. If you have to get any more, it's close to impossible. At least it has been through all of 1993.
Kurt Manwaring will lead it off.
Catching on an awesome marker. 1 inning, 1 hit, 1 strikeout.
Scanlon in there, a breaking ball strike. We're in the bottom of the 8th. Cubs with 1 more chance. Ground ball. Sanchez throws him out. And Waring grounds out.
What production the Giants have had out of the top 2 spots in the batting order. Lewis 3 for 3 with a walk. Thompson 4 for 4, 7 for 7 with 3 runs batted in and 2 runs scored. And you can't ask for much of anything more out of the table setters.
Each man been on base 4 times in a row. Here's Aaron Lewis with 3 hits and a walk, 2 runs scored. Robbie Thompson is next, 4 out of 4 with 3 runs batted in. But the difference in the ball game now, Jeff Reed's homer off a left-handed pitcher, Chuck McElroy, with 1 out in the 6th. Lewis had been held so completely in check by the Cubs pitching prior to this series. He had only 4 out of 48 during his career against Cub pitching. And in the series played in Chicago, he was 1 out of 14. In this series, he is 6 out of 8.
This is not the man you want to walk, because he is one of the premier base stealers in the National League, and Scanlon has fallen behind 3-1.
Strike 2 call. 3-2. The only other game played this afternoon found Baltimore beating the Red Sox in Boston 5-1. Baltimore's 10th straight victory. Walked the ball 4. And Lewis has been on base 5 times in a row. 1 out. Here's Robbie Thompson, 4 for 4.
Now you have to contend with a man who swiped 23 bases, been caught only 5 times. And Scanlon will have to keep a close eye on Darren Lewis.
Barry Bonds leads the National League in total bases. 148, with his teammate Matt Williams running second with 140. There goes the runner. The peg, they're going to get him maybe. Out. Darren Lewis is out trying to steal from Wilkins to Sanchez.
What a great throw by Rick Wilkins. Scanlon gave him a shot, even though Lewis had a great jump, thrown out for only the 6th time this year, and Wilkins does it perfectly. The throw right there, and they get him. The call by John McSherry. The tag on the upper body before the back leg hits the bag.
Did you see him flip his helmet in the air? I've seen guys get kicked out of ball games for less than that. 2 out, nobody on. There's his 5th hit in a row. Robbie Thompson, 5 out of 5, and none of them been flukes. All of them have been hit hard.
Thompson hitting .314 this year, attacking 18 points on his batting average with his 5 for 5, and hitting .600 against the Cubs this year. And he gets a standing ovation from the crowd here at Candlestick Park. And what a day he's had.
Here is Tom Bensinger. Nothing out of 2. He replaced Will Clark at first base. Career high 5 hits for Robbie Thompson in 1 game. That ties his career high. He had done it before. One ball, 1 strike. 2 out, a runner on at first. Boy, oh boy, between Darren Lewis and Robbie Thompson, hitting 1-2 in their lineup. They've been on base 10 times. Each man 5 times in a row. Lewis with 3 hits and 2 walks. Robbie Thompson with a double and 4 singles. Fouled it back.
Randy Myers getting loose, and that's probably in case Barry Bonds does come to bat this inning. But between Bonds, Bensinger and Williams have got to keep it alive with 2 outs here in the 8th.
A little bit inside. All 3. 3-2 on Bensinger. Matt Williams will be next. He's 0 for 4 today, 0 for 4 yesterday. But yesterday he drove in the run. Fouled it out of play. And Robbie Thompson returns. Three balls, 2 strikes. Ground ball in the right field, a base hit. Thompson goes all the way around to third, running with the pitch naturally with 2 out, 3-2.
14 base hits for the Giants today. They've doubled up the Cubs in that department despite leading only by 1 run. So the Cubs have made the most of their opportunities, and Billy Connors now comes out to talk with Bob Scanlon. And they go over every one of these hitters with all the bullpen pitchers and the starters. But Billy's going out there just to remind him what they want to do with Matt Williams.
The Giants 5 runs on 14 hits. The Cubs 4 runs on 7 hits. Runners at first and third. And Matt Williams. Ray Sanchez talking with Scanlon now. The outfield straight away and deep. Williams with 53 RBIs to his credit. Half swing, he rolls it. Easy play at first to retire the side. From Sandberg to Great. So at the end of 8. Giants 5, Cubs 4. Harry Carey back at Candlestick Park. Rod Beck with fans, 41 men in 3rd and 3rd innings. Their ace relief pitcher, big, strong right-hander, is on the mound. Going for his 18th save.
Beck 2-1. The ERA a minuscule 1.48 on for the 30th time. He's only given up 19 hits in 30 1/3 innings.
Rick Wilken. A little bit inside.
Now he has given up 2 home runs this year, and it's very friendly down the right field line for Wilkins, who's hit 5 home runs his past 4 games.
Ball 2. Wilkins has homered in the last 4 games. As a matter of fact, he's got 5 homers in the last 4 games. And a cut. 2 balls and a strike.
What makes Beck so tough is the fact that he's got a fastball between 91 and 93 miles an hour consistently, and he's got a good forkball to go with it.
Makes his home in Scottsdale, Arizona, out of Burbank, California. That evens the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Way high.
Beck has already equaled his save total all of last year when he appeared in 65 games. They were easing him into the saver role. This year he's been used exclusively as the stopper.
High pop foul out of play. He was originally drafted by the Oakland A's. Then he's traded to the Giants in '88. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Ball 4. The tying run is on with nobody out. And here is Sammy Sosa. We're going to have a pinch runner, Eric Yelding. Yelding's going to run for Wilkins. The producer director of Cubs baseball is Arnie Harris. The coordinating producer is Bill Borson, and our associate producer Joe Carneo. A runner on at first base, Sammy Sosa. Who fanned his only time up today. Swung and he missed the breaking ball, a curve.
Well, Yelding does have great speed. He's 1 for 1 in the stolen base department this year, and that 1 stolen base helped the Cubs win a game as he later came on and scored. Pretty good man behind the plate in Kurt Manwaring as far as throwing out base runners.
Throw to first, runner back. Only 2 home runs have been allowed by Beck. He's about as big as Goose Gossage, heavier. Curveball over the outside corner, and he's in a hole 0-2. 2 breaking balls. But you cannot look for the breaking ball. You can bust that plus 90-mile-an-hour fastball right by you. Yelding a lead. He gets back. That was close. Man wearing a fine throwing arm. Sanchez, the next hitter. Curveball, he laid off on that one. 1 ball, 2 strikes. That's 3 curves in a row he's thrown them.
Pretty good pitch to run if you're Eric Yelding, but you have to watch the quick move of Beck. There's a 4th curve coming. It's not a good pitch for a catcher to throw anybody out at second.
Over to first, runner back. Todd Beck is letting him know he's aware of his existence. Yelding trying to edge away. Again the throw. Gets back easily this time. Cubs trail by 1. We're in the top of the 9th. The tying run at first, nobody out. Ball is high. 2-2. And Sammy hanging in there. Chuck Cartier coaching at third. Jose Martinez at first. Struck him. Sosa for the 2nd time in a row. And now here's Ray Sanchez batting for the first time.
Sanchez should be able to get the bat on the ball, even with Rod Beck on the mound, because Ray very rarely overswings. Had a good day yesterday with 3 singles and 4 at-bats.
Matt Williams not exactly guarding the line. I guess he figures nobody can pull Beck down the third baseline. Whoa, ball almost got away from Van Waring. And I would imagine Yelding is a little sorry he didn't break.
Had Yelding had his weight moving towards second base, he would have been able to get into second base easily. It was a fine play by Van Waring, but the ball went out of that cutout circle. Anytime it does that, a base runner should be able to take a base.
There's the drive. Deep left center field. Way back. And Barry Bonds makes a fine running catch. Holy cow. That's Sanchez's best shot.
What an effort by Barry Bonds. Right in front of the gap in left center field. Sanchez hits it as hard as he can, and Bonds on the run with great speed. If this guy doesn't beat you with his bat, he shows you he can beat you with his glove as he takes a double away. And what an outstanding effort by Bonds. And boy, that's a tough play to make.
The more these writers write these critical stories, the greater ball player Barry Bonds is. And that's one thing they cannot take away from him, which is his ability to play this game extremely, extremely well. 2 out. Swung and he missed. And third ball. Let's pause for identification.
This is WGN TV Chicago, America's #1 sports station.
1 strike and nothing. Dwight Smith 1 out of 4. High pop fly. This ball game's going to be over. Martinez makes the catch, and the Giants have won the second game 5-4. We'll be back in a moment. Game summary shows the victorious Giants with 5 runs, 14 hits, no errors. The Cubs 4 runs, 7 hits, no errors. The winner, Bill Swift, 8-3. Chuck McElroy is the loser, 2-2. Rod Beck is 18th save of the year, and Jeff Reed hit a home run to decide the ball game. Robbie Thompson had a career high 5 out of 5. And here's the Budweiser play of the game. Jeff Reed of Joliet Township High School hitting this home run with the score tied 4-4 in the 6th with 1 out to drive in the winning run of the day. The Budweiser play of the afternoon. We'll be back with the final word in a moment.